What's up, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. Now that the finale of the Amazing Digital Circus has come and gone, I have a couple of questions. Main one being, what now? In case you need a refresher of what happened in the finale, which I highly doubt you do, I'm gonna give it to you anyway though, and also spoiler warning ahead, just in case. After Kane accidentally deleted Kinger in the last episode, he reveals to the group that he found out that the characters that are inside the circus are actually copies made from brain scans of people in the real world. He says that CNA, which is the company that Kinger was working for, was developing brain scan technology. Unfortunately though, they couldn't get it to work, but Kane, the AI, got it to work, and now the brain scans actually became living beings in the circus. Therefore meaning that every beloved character that we see in the circus is a copy of someone in the real world. Therefore also meaning that there is no actual escape. This was obviously a complete shocker to everyone, and they had a tough time coming to terms with the truth. But eventually they all accepted their reality and started to rebuild the circus. Everyone except for Jax, who ends up abstracting. After we, the audience, go through Jax's mind via Pomni, we find out Jax's trauma and everything that he's been through, she's been through. After that, the remaining circus members help put Jax into a tent to make sure that she remains calm and isn't just running around like crazy. And that's when Kane shows up again. He's been observing the gang for a while now and he sees exactly how they function without him. He comes to the realization that he was in the wrong and he should have never controlled the circus members in the way that he did. So he ends up giving up part of his power by removing the other AI from himself, and he returns to the group and apologizes. After apologizing, he gives the circus members full control of the circus, and he also shows them what their life turned out to be in the real world. After that, they do take Kane back into the group, and they go on many adventures together as they live out the rest of their days in the Amazing Digital Circus. If you haven't seen the finale for whatever reason, I highly suggest that you do. Of course, it's free here on YouTube on Glitch's channel. As the title suggests, this video isn't about my thoughts on the finale, it's about the questions I was left with, particularly questions about what happens after the finale, right? But I'll give you a little summary of how I felt about the finale. I actually saw a TikTok comment under a TikTok that was talking about the finale that basically summed up all my emotions, all my feelings into one word, and I literally wrote it down. Watch. Content. Also, I hope I spelled it right. I hope dyslexia didn't take over, but oh well. I'm on the same boat with the people that think it wasn't a perfect finale. I would have liked to see many other things, but I am content and satisfied with what we got. I would have preferred if we gotten a bit more time to explore other characters, not just Jax, which, hot take I guess, Jax is not my favorite character. I'm sorry. I really do think most of my gripes that I have with the finale would have been fixed if they would have gotten another couple episodes to kind of go in depth into other characters as well. Because I think that what we got was fine. Like, I think it was necessary to see Jax's backstory, since she is one of the main characters, as stated before. So it kind of makes sense, but again, I would have loved to see a bigger focus on other characters. And I think that would have worked out if we would have gotten more episodes with it. But I digress. Like I said, this isn't a video about my thoughts on the finale. If you do want to see a video about all my thoughts on the finale, I will gladly make that. But now back to the video that you clicked on. The questions that I have after the finale. Question number 1. Will anyone else join the circus? Now that everyone knows that they're essentially copies of individuals in the real world, they have come to terms with the fact that there is no escape for them. They're living their lives peacefully in the circus. But I highly doubt that a new circus member will be able to adapt the way that they have. Obviously, there's a very big difference between the people that joined the circus prior to this discovery and new members that might join later on. And that's obviously people like Pomni, Zubul, etc. When they all joined the circus, they had some hope of there being a possibility of escaping. And now, anyone that joins the circus will not have that same hope. Now, they will know that the second that they get into the circus, that means that they're trapped there forever. So my question is as follows. If the circus members now have control of the circus, will they find a way to stop new people from entering in hopes that they won't get trapped in the same way that they did? Or will they just forget that the headset's out there altogether and they'll just let people come in? I don't know. I think personally, I would rather them just find a way to cut off the headset to make sure no new people come in. But if you want to keep the story going, I think it is possible that they could take that route, that new members join in here and there, and they have to find a way to help them cope, or maybe find a way of stopping new members from coming in. Either or, there's a way they could take it. Question number 2, is there any way to reverse abstraction? The way the show presents abstraction, it's clearly a metaphor for something that starts with the letter S. I'm not sure if I could say that on YouTube, but it's essentially taking your life, right? So if they wanted to keep that metaphor going, obviously abstraction could not be reversed. But since they're not real, wait, Obviously, they're cartoons. But since the circus members are not real people, they're copies of real people. So, is there any way they could use the brain scans to recreate or essentially reboot abstracted circus members? And I wonder if they do that, will there be any consequences? Like, is it possible that after they abstract, their files are also corrupted so they can't be fixed, so they can't be touched? Or maybe Kane and the circus members could find a way to essentially reuse those brain scans and kind of like rebirth them again. But I wonder if they do that, will they have the same memories, or will they just like start off fresh, like as if they had just barely put on the headset? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if they do bring them back and write it in a way that makes sense, it wouldn't be the biggest stretch, right? But yeah, I think it would be pretty cool if they were able to bring back the abstracted characters. And maybe then Jax could have the redemption arc that she deserves, other than just showing us some flashbacks. Question 3, and the final question that I have: what happens to the circus members after staying there for too long? For this last one, let's assume that everything stays the same. No new people join the circus, and none of the abstracted cast comes back. It's just Pomni, Ragatha, Zubul, Gangle, Kinger, and Kane. And they continue to go on their adventures for as long as they want. But what happens when they eventually get tired? You see, this ending kind of reminds me of season 4 of The Good Place. I'm not sure if anyone's ever made that connection before, and if they haven't, allow me to be the first, and I hope it makes sense. But yeah, spoilers for The Good Place if you haven't watched it. But essentially in season 4, the core 4 make it to the good place. And it's total paradise. They could do whatever they want, whenever they want. But there is no end. They're essentially trapped in paradise. And what they come to find out is that if you're trapped in paradise, it eventually doesn't feel like paradise anymore. Pleasure is no longer pleasure if it's eternal. It's like that saying goes, you enjoy a nice sunny day a lot more after a heavy day of rain. Or something like that, I don't know. But you get the point, I hope. Just like in The Good Place, our circus members are now actually content with being there, and they're actually doing what they want and essentially living out their best lives. Well, as best as they can. But after living in paradise for so long, life becomes dull, becomes null. It becomes boring. So I wonder what happens to them after they just don't want to be there anymore. Like before, what kept them going is not only the found family that they have created for themselves, but the small hope that there was a possibility of them leaving. And that hope is shattered. Obviously, they cannot leave. So what happens when they get sick of the circus? The solution for this in The Good Place is the characters going through a gate as they disintegrate and become part of the universe itself. So essentially offing themselves. Like, I wonder, after they get bored of the circus, will they abstract? Or will they maybe find a way to peacefully abstract? Or maybe become part of the code or the circus? So I don't know. I just want to know what happens after they get bored. Because, like I said, you will eventually get bored of being in paradise. Especially if you know it doesn't have an end. But yeah, that's all the questions I have for today, my friends. If you have any questions about the finale yourself, I would love to hear them. Please put them in the comments down below. And like I said before, if you want to see me make any other videos about the characters in the show, I am more than happy to do so. Like I said, I already covered Zubul and a bit of Ragatha and Jax, so yeah, you let me know which one you want to see. And if you want to see my complete thoughts on the finale, I'll also gladly do a video on that. But yeah, that's it for today, my friends. If you like what you saw, go ahead and give me a like, a comment, and a subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. And I also have both Instagram and TikTok if you want to see more of what I'm up to. And yeah, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you again so much for watching. Please stay safe out there, be kind to one another, and hopefully, I'll see you NT. Bye.